This is your last one and a courtesy call.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of our competitive analysis series where we take some look at cards that are coming out in the future and we give them some discussion, see what I think about them, how I like them, how I can see them being played in the deck. Obviously you guys really like the Metagross one, so shout out to you guys. I got a couple of comments. I should probably go over the comments actually. You know what? At the end of the video, we're going to go over the comments over the Metagross video because some people have discussions they want to discuss with me and I want to discuss with you guys as well. So I think I'm going to make that a part of the series where we go over the comments of the previous competitive analysis, just so I can have a discussion and like listen to you guys, your ideas, because you guys do have some awesome ideas and I do not want to cut you guys short from that. But today we're talking about Tapu Bulu, a card I'm pretty excited about. It's very rarely do we get like big basic grass type Pokemon that can hit really hard or do really well. So I'm pretty excited to go over this one. I know this is also coming out in our SM. No, wait, we're getting this as a tin in America, I think that was confirmed. And it's a pretty decent card to get for a tin card. Something that I don't think is going to be in our set, although I could be wrong because we don't have any official confirmation yet. But let's go over Tapu Bulu and everything it does. Hold on, I did that the other way around. There we go. Hey, there we go. That should be good. Alright, so super bootleg, but you know, what are you gonna do? Tapu Bulu is a cool card, right? It's 180 HP grass type basic Pokemon with no resistance or weakness, which is really cool for a grass type to not have weakness, which means it's one of the few grass types that don't have to worry too heavily about Volcanion. Volcanion can only knock it out with how many steam ups? If it's hitting for 140, 30, 60. With 3 steam ups. We can only knock it out with 3 steam ups with a Fighting Fury belt, which is pretty interesting, right? I think that's right. It's 60 extra damage with 140. So it needs, yeah, so it's 2. Yeah, it needs 3 steam ups. Cool. Or like 2 with a choice band. So there's ways for it to knock it out, but it needs to do a couple of steam ups for it to knock it out, which is really nice about Tapu Bulu GX. It actually has 3 pretty decent attacks. It has 1 attack for 1 energy. Just nice and poke. 1 grass energy, pretty easy to get done. It has a 3rd attack for 2 grass and a colorless, Nature's Madness, 120 damage, and you may discard all energies attached to this Pokemon if you do this attack to 60 damage. This is a really cool attack, right? 120 is a pretty decent amount of damage. We're going to go over ways that you can boost it up, but right now you have Fighting Fury Belt, which can make you have 220 HP, which is a pretty decent amount. Which, by the way, when I was talking about Volcanion, I was talking about with a belt attached to you. I just want to throw that out there. Or you have Choice Band, which can make you hit 150 off the bat, right? Now, this cool thing about this card is that it says you may, which means you don't always have to do this, but if you choose to discard all energy attached to this Pokemon, you can do 60 more damage, which means you're doing 180 damage. That's enough to knock out non-belted EXs and GXs. You are hitting for weakness against Lapras, which is the only one I can think of right now that has 190 HP. There might be another one, but I'm just not thinking of it right now. That's a basic that is. Which is really cool. Also hitting all those EXs, non-belted and stuff like that, which we don't have to worry too much about belts and stuff anymore, or tools, because we still do have Field Blower that gets rid of tools and stadiums. So you still have that option there if you want to run a heavy amount of Field Blower in your deck list to get rid of belts so that you can get some easier Okos. That is a cool idea right there. And then we have Kapu Wild GX, a really decent GX attack. Hits for 150 damage, heal all of this Pokemon's HP. So if you're heavily damaged, if you want to heal yourself up, if you want to hit for more than 120 that turn but not discard your energies, Tapu Wild is a pretty interesting attack. I like it a lot. I think it's a pretty cool GX attack, just because you're a big basic. Like, we see decks like Darkrai succeed in the past, Speed Darkrai and things like that. Obviously Speed Darkrai is different because you can stack damage, but Tapu Bulu is cool too because you can just hit for 180 or 120 and then you have ways to boost the attack up. I really like this card. It is a 3 retreat cost, which is a little bit unfortunate, and we'll go over, well, I mean, it's one of those things where you could attach a Fighting Fury belt to it. You could use Escape Rope switches, Olympia. Of course, I am going to have that skeleton deck at the end of the video. By the way, with my deck list, I want to throw this out there because apparently this wasn't really understood last time. My deck lists are ideas. They're not, most of the time, they're not decks that are like I feel like are ready to be played. Specifically with this one, today's too. This one has a lot of things that you could switch around and change, because I don't know how these decks are going to be played until I get some real time to practice with it, right? So same thing with the Metagross deck list last time. I know that you guys really enjoyed that video, so shout outs to you guys. By the way, if you haven't already, go ahead and drop a like if you like these things. Let me know what cards you want me to go over down below as well. But let's continue on. So that's Tapu Bulu GX. Now Tapu Bulu has a couple of cards that I feel like can support it pretty well. Well, first things first, just due to the nature of the card, right? You're discarding your cards to attack. You obviously have Lurantis GX, which is a really interesting addition to put in Tapu Bulu decks, because Flower Supply is just, whatever free attachment, you're chipping them down so that you can knock them out with Tapu Bulu. I mean, you can just attach from the discard pile to your Pokemon, so it's just a nice way to keep acceleration going throughout the game while doing a little bit of damage here and there. And the cool thing about Lurantis GX is actually we're getting a new Lurantis as, I believe, a blister pack promo that goes pretty well with Tapu Bulu and pairs really well with Lurantis, and that's because it is a new form of Lurantis. So it evolves from Fomantis too, so it's actually worth playing. And not to mention that Lurantis is a non-basic Pokemon, meaning that you can hit past Jolteon using Lurantis GX's attack, and I guess in theory this one too, but you rather use Lurantis GX's attack just because it hits harder and can heal you. But yeah, we have this Lurantis GX. Now, this Lurantis is interesting, right? It has the ability Sunny Day. As long as this Pokemon's in play, each of your Grass and Fire Pokemon do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. So it's a way that you can actually increase the damage of Tapu Bulu without the need to discard the energies. So say that you have two of these in the bench, right? So you're hitting for 40 extra damage with your Tapu Bulu, which is already hitting for 160. All right, with a Fighting Fury Belt, you're hitting for 170 without discarding your energies. That's knocking out things like Tapu Lele and those 170 HP EXs. If you want to hit for more, you can attach a Choice Band instead. Choice Band means that you're hitting for 150 plus the 40 more. You're hitting for 190. That's knocking out all non-belted Pokemon that are basics, I should say, except for like Wailord. But don't you hit Wailord for weakness? I don't remember. Yeah, Wailord should be weak to grass. All right, cool. So you're pretty much knocking out all those beautiful things, right? Now with that 40 extra damage, and for hitting for 180, you are hitting for a beautiful 220 damage when you discard all your energies. That's knocking out belted Pokemon. So you have the option to knock out belted Pokemon on top of knocking out Pokemon that are not belted. So I think that's a really cool thing about Tapu Bulu, is that you have a controlled damage output, right? Which is very interesting. I like it a lot. What else? And then if you have Choice Band, instead of Fighting Fury Belt, you're hitting for 150 or 180 plus 30 is 210 plus 40 is 250. So you're hitting for 250, which is enough to knock out pretty much everything in the game. Because the only Pokemon that have 250 are like stage 2 GXs or Wailord, and you hit Wailord for weakness, and those stage 2 GXs can't have any tools that increase their HP or reduce your damage output or anything like that. So I think it's really interesting. I like it a lot. I don't think any of them resist grass either, so that's pretty interesting. I do like the fact that you have the options to easily knock out Pokemon based on the tool you're using. Also, let's don't forget that Field Blower can get rid of your own tools. So if you're having a belt and you want to put on a Choice Band instead, just to get that key knockout, you can just knock out your own and then put in your Choice Band instead. So I do like that aspect about Tapu Bulu a lot. I think there's a lot of Tapu Bulu is going to be a very heavily explored deck as far as like what the deck list is going to be like, but a lot of them are going to be very similar. Some of them will forego the Lurantis option and go for straight consistency plus bulk, because when you're discarding your own Pokemon, right, or your own energies, it gives you room to play cards like Max Potion. So that's a cool thing about this deck list too, is that because you're so big, so bulky, you can go for Kapu Wild, and you can continuously survive throughout the game while playing things like Max Potion. So I like Tapu Bulu GX a lot. It has some versatility whether you want to go full bulk, full offensive, or a mixture of the two. Now there is one more card that was announced in SM2 in Japan, and that is Aether Paradise Conservation Area. Probably going to be your stadium of choice, because even though you are playing Lurantis, you don't really need turn 1 Lurantis, right? It's not necessary, so you don't have to play fours. Plus, it gives you a little bit of a cushion whenever the rotation hits. You have this card as an option, right? Each basic player's grass and lightning Pokemon take 30 less damage from your opponent's Pokemon's attack. So you combine this with Tapu Bulu, it becomes even harder for things like Volcanion to knock you out. It becomes a lot harder for anything really to knock you out. You have a Fighting Fury Belt for 220 HP, and you're taking 30 less damage. That's a cool card right there. You can combine this with things like Pokemon Center Lady to really just preserve your Bulu's attacking capabilities, keeping you on the field longer so that you can win the game easier. So another great card, also pairs well with things like Lurantis, but no, it doesn't, because it only affects basics. Never mind. So it's going to be there specifically for your Bulu, but I mean the main in like this deck list that I'm talking about, the main attacker is Bulu. I can't imagine playing Tapu Bulu in any other deck list because there's not like a grass box deck out there or anything like that. So Bulu is going to be one of those cards that you can only play deck by deck. Now today's video is going to be a bit shorter, just because there really isn't much to talk about, right? I already talked about all the other new interesting cards that are coming out in my Metagross video, things like Tapu Lele, which of course are going to be in the deck, and things like that. And let's go ahead and go over the deck list that I built. Now it's going to be a little bit bootleg, as you can see. I put the cards here. Hold on, there, you can see my mouse disappeared because the picture is over the thing, but whatever, you know what I mean. Of course, this is going to be Tapu Lele. Just one Tapu Lele to get your draw supporters and stuff like that. Pretty interesting stuff. We have, of course, our 2 Shaymins. Now this is exactly what I was telling you earlier, right? This deck list, not nearly close to finish, because I don't know if I'm the kind of guy who wants to play Max Potion in my list or to go straight offensive and just switch around. I am playing only 2 Float Stones, 2 Fighting Fury Belts, and then 2 Muscle Band, or 1 Muscle Band aka Choice Band, because I'm more of a bulky player than anything. I prefer to play with bulk, but I do want that Choice Band option. Also Steel Energies, ignore that, those are supposed to be grass, which I should increase as well. So this, once again, these are just a bunch of cards I threw together just to give you an idea of what it is. This is not a deck list I would play. I would want to put in more grass energies myself. Honestly, I like Max Elixir, and in a deck like this, there's some, and these are supposed to be, or these are Bulus. So we are playing 3 Bulus in this case, because I feel like 3 is the only number is the only amount that you really need. But to me, I would play. There's some couple options, right? Maybe Max Elixir with Puzzle of Time to get more Max Elixirs to continuously accelerate energies with like a Super Rod or 2, just to put the energies back so you can land more Max Elixirs as the game goes on. And then play some of these. Of course, this attaches 2 from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon, then you manually attach an attack. You attach Float Stones to these things. Maybe more Escape Ropes. This is supposed to be conservation areas. You can see I do like Hex in the deck list, just because Hex does help you against specific deck lists, specifically Vileplume, which will be out during that time. And then we have, of course, Lysander, because knocking things out is nice. I am playing Max Potion. I mean, this is just an idea so you guys can see what I would try out first, just to see how I would feel about playing the deck list. Nothing to really take to heart, but that's going to be the video, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Oh god, why is it doing this? Hold on. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of Tapu Bulu. Do you think it's going to be a good card? Do you think it's good to have another big basic, or do you think we shouldn't have any more of these big basics? I know that's a big debate going on right now. How you would play this card, and yeah. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and let the screen stay up, and I'm gonna go ahead and talk about some of the comments. If you guys are gonna head out, then be sure to drop a like. Remember, comments do get a chance of winning a couple of Sun and Moon packs. So if you haven't already, leave a comment down below, really answering any questions, or letting me know what cards you want me to discuss in the future, and like potential decks and whatnot. Let's see. Somebody to Liu Jiayu actually suggested try pairing the Metagross deck with the 2/2 line of the new Garbodor, put in some second energies, and it'll make your late game a lot easier. I mean, that could be interesting, right? But like, then again, I mean, it's hard to do things like that, right? Because your deck list is like going to Metagross deck when you're playing Rare Candy, Stage 1, Stage 2, things like that. It's already really, really clunky. So, I mean, it's an interesting idea, but then you're forced to throw in psychic energies just so that you can potentially attack with a Garbodor, which is going to be really good late game. I guess. I like your list, but if Maxi Ferrari said, I like your list, but if I were to play this today, I would replace the 3 Delmines with 2 more Genesects and a Magearna EX. There's simply not enough bench space for the Delmines. Keep in mind that at least 1 Shaman and 1 Tapu Lele will be in your bench, and you want to try to have as many Metagrosses as you can, so either drop the Delmines or play Skyfield. I do agree with that. I actually really do heavily agree with that. I think bench space is a big issue. Maybe just because of the way I play the game, but whenever I play, my idea... I don't really want to play down Shaman, and I'm not going to really want to play down Tapu Lele. They're just there if I absolutely need to play down. Now, obviously, there's going to be a huge need for me to play them down, and that makes sense. So you could obviously just drop the Delmines altogether in the Metagross deck list, because Delmines just increase the damage. But you can just focus on 2-hitting KOing everything, maybe play Kukui instead. Or you can play Skyfield to... put as many Pokemon down in your bench as you want. Now, obviously, post-rotation is not going to matter as much, but post-rotation, you're also losing the Shaman, right? So, you're going to have a little bit more bench space to do so. I'm not a big fan of Magearna, and I'm not seeing a reason to be a big fan of Magearna in the future as far as the cards that come out, right? There's not a lot of cards that can disrupt your own energy through attacking or paralyze or anything that's like going to be super duper good or anything like that. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, as you said, the main strategy would be attacking Metagross next turn, discarding all 3 energies to another Metagross, and then use the ability to put them back so you can attack again. But if you're going to do this Genesect, that's a few advantages. You can choose how many energies you want to discard. I do like Genesect a lot, don't get me wrong. I think Genesect is a great addition to this deck list. So yeah, there's that. Let's see. You don't really want 3 Metagross out. Leroy Hedgewood says you don't really want 3 Metagross GX out at once. You really want 2 Metagross GX out at one time. You want your bench to have 3 to 4 Delmines and a Zoroark. Delmines increases damage, and Zoroark will float and retreat your Metagrosses in and out active so it can attack every turn. Retreating constantly with 3 Metagross GX brings back energy. It's interesting, but Zoroark can do the job much better. Plus, Zoroark is good at destroying Skyfield decks your opponent has to play. I mean, I can see what you're saying, but once again, if you're playing a 2-2 Zoroark line, you have to decide what you want to drop, right? And that's the tough part about having bulky lists. And a lot of people forget that too. Like there's a lot of cool ideas you can just throw into decks, but the reality is that you also have to think of deck space and bench space and everything like that. And somebody mentioned that earlier, right? Somebody mentioned that earlier, right? How you're gonna have Tapu Lele or Shaman on your bench too, so you're already gonna have a big clunky bench. And I agree with that. I do think that it's going to be difficult, and most of the time you're probably only going to get 1 or 2 Metagross out at the same time. So there, you can play around it. I don't know. It's definitely a deck that needs testing, because it's a stage 2 deck that can accelerate energies. So ideally it's good, but it's also difficult to get out stage 2s. Maybe in the future, whenever the format slows down a bit, we lose things like Shaman to be a little bit easier, but who knows. Or what are your thoughts on pairing with Solgaleo GX? I think it's difficult. I think it's bad because you have to put 2 stage 2s in the same deck list. Somebody said Solgaleo Metagross GX with non-Metagross GX. I don't know if I like that, just because like it's you want to have as many Metagross GX as possible so you don't bench them, or you don't prize them. Metagross GX is going to hit huge against Glaceon GX, Regice. I do agree. I really like this video. Thank you, Jesus. Cool. Well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed the video, but let me know down below in the comments all these other things. Maybe next time I'll have like the comments on screen. I just have to set that up first, because deciding that I wanted to read the comments in the video was like a last minute thing. Let me know how I can make these kind of series better. But sure to drop a like, subscribe, share all the good jazz, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.